A near-perfect run for the Reds in all competitions so far, with Spurs our next game in the EFL Cup tomorrow. Despite a 1-goal deficit for Liverpool, fans are confident we can continue our road to 4 trophies this season. However, we have some huge news ahead of the game against Spurs. We will dive deep into this whilst also discussing all the latest Liverpool news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so as always, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for daily Liverpool content. But first, Arne Slot has confirmed that Trent Alexander-Arnold will not play in the Carabao Cup semi-final decider against Spurs, and it will be a game of wait and see for Sunday's cup clash. Alexander-Arnold underwent a scan on his right thigh on Monday after being forced off at Bournemouth, but the results were positive with an expected absence of days rather than weeks. He will not be risked against either Spurs in the Carabao Cup, and reports suggested it would remain the case against Plymouth in the FA Cup on Sunday, with a view to return for the Merseyside derby next week. With no other injuries to report, Slot was asked in his pre-match press conference about his vice-captain status, and he confirmed that he will play no part at Anfield on Thursday. Speaking to reporters, Slot said, "He is going to miss the game tomorrow, and then we have to see if he is able to play on Sunday. But what we do know is that he is not available for tomorrow. You saw that he left the pitch with a bit of pain in his leg, that's why he misses the game tomorrow. But he's already on the pitch, not with the team, but with the rehab coach. Let's see how long it will take, but he's not going to be available tomorrow." Connor Bradley is therefore in line to start against Spurs on Thursday, and could also be retained against Plymouth 3 days later. It would represent back-to-back starts for only the second time this season for the Northern Irishman. Slot is not short on other options, however, with Joe Gomez, Curtis Jones and Diogo Jota all having recently returned to leave only Alexander-Arnold as an injury absentee. Spurs manager Ange Postecoglou, meanwhile, could be without 9 players for his side's trip to Anfield, but they did bring in 2 new signings late in the transfer window. Ahead of a big clash against Spurs, there has been some huge news to report as a twist has emerged. Spurs made 2 late signings in the transfer window, but have been hit with another serious injury blow ahead of their Carabao Cup semi-final second leg against Liverpool. Liverpool, trailing 1-0 from the first leg, will host Spurs on Thursday night. Arne Slot's side has just 1 confirmed injury, with early reports suggesting Trent Alexander-Arnold's injury won't keep him sidelined for long. In contrast, Spurs face a major injury crisis with up to 9 players unavailable, including new long-term absentee Radu Dragusin, who has been ruled out for the rest of the season after suffering an ACL injury. He joins fellow defender Christian Romero on the sidelines, while Mickey van de Ven and Ben Davies have only recently returned from injury layoffs. Spurs are also without key players such as Dominic Solanke, James Maddison, Timo Werner, Brennan Johnson, Wilson Odobert, Destiny Udogie, and Guglielmo Vicario. To cope with their injury problems, Spurs completed loan-to-buy deals for centre-back Kevin Danso from Lens and forward Mathis Tel from Bayern Munich. Both are expected to be available for the semi-final. However, Spurs were unable to secure further defensive reinforcements after a £70 million bid for Crystal Palace's Mark Guehi was rejected. They were also unsuccessful in their attempts to sign Fikayo Tomori and Axel Disasi. Kevin Danso could make his return to English football in this crucial match, potentially partnering Mickey van de Ven or Ben Davies in defence. Meanwhile, Tel is likely to join Son Heung-min and Richarlison in attack, with few other options available. Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold is expected to miss out, with Connor Bradley likely to take his place. While Spurs announced the signing of Liverpool Academy centre-back Luca Fernal-Gill after the deadline, the youngster won't feature in this semi-final clash. This is certainly a big boost for Liverpool. Despite the gap between the 2 clubs in the league, Spurs are and still can be a very dangerous side, so we will take any advantage we can get going into the game. Let me know what you think down below. In other news, semi-automated offside technology is still on course to make a belated debut in the Premier League this season. The technology, which league officials hope will shave an average of 31 seconds off the time it takes to check for offside, was originally supposed to be brought in after one of the international breaks last autumn. Those deadlines came and went, and the league faced criticism over why it had not adopted a semi-automated system already tried and tested in another competition. Even the Premier League's chief football officer, Tony Scholes, has admitted to severe doubts about when the system, developed by Genius Sports, would finally be given the green light. However, he said, significant progress has been made in recent weeks and that SOT was now close to being brought in. The system that we've adopted, we believe it to be the best system, he said. We believe it to be the most accurate and the most future-proof system as well. I have to confess, given the difficulties that we had over the first few months of the season, I had severe doubts about this, but the progress made over the last 4 to 6 weeks has been significant. Scholes insisted introducing it with potentially only a handful of games to go would not create an integrity issue. The operation of semi-automated offside technology does not change the integrity of the offside law and doesn't change the integrity of decision-making, he said. We have got 100% accuracy on offside after VAR checks this season, so it won't improve the accuracy. What it does is make the process more efficient. In an effort to improve communication to fans, particularly those in stadiums, Scholes said it is likely referees will announce the outcome of VAR reviews from the start of next season, a protocol currently being trialled in this season's Carabao Cup semi-finals. Scholes said the Premier League would also continue lobbying to be able to broadcast the live audio between referees and VARs, which is currently not permitted by the game's lawmakers, the International Football Association Board, IFAB. Data from the key match incidents (KMI) panel for the season up to the 23rd match round found a total of 13 VAR errors, 4 where the VAR overturned a correct decision taken on the field, and 9 missed interventions. That was a drop from 20 such errors recorded at the same point last season. The period covered includes Michael Oliver's red card for Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly against Wolves on January 25th for a foul on Matt Doherty, which has since been rescinded by an independent regulatory commission under the auspices of the Football Association. The Premier League did not say whether that had been deemed an incorrect on-field decision, a missed intervention, or both. It is understood the KMI panel findings for the round of matches, including the Lewis-Skelly dismissal, have not been circulated to clubs as yet. Nobody here underestimates the significance and the impact of one single error, Scholes said, speaking generally about the KMI panel findings for the season rather than the Oliver incident. We know that one single error can cost clubs. Points can cost and results can cost managers' positions, potentially players their place. They are significant. They are hugely important in a game of such high stakes, so our absolute objective is to reduce that number down as far as we can. Decision-making accuracy after VAR checks improved from 95.7% to 96.4%. Scholes pointed out that the KMI panel found 66 of the 70 VAR overturns were correct. It's absolutely right that we keep pushing these officials, that we keep pushing them to be as good as they can be. But it's also right that we acknowledge progress is being made, he said. We do not get the best performance out of people we are constantly criticizing, that we are constantly beating up over errors made. It's right that we should recognize the progress. These guys are good, and the rest of the world see that. The rest of the world recognize how good they are. If we benchmark them against previous years, they're very good as well. There was criticism not just of Oliver's on-field decision on Lewis-Skelly, but also VAR Darren England's failure to advise a review at the pitchside monitor. Scholes said VARs were trained to have the courage of their convictions to call for a review even where an on-field official was more senior. If it's a factual decision, then the VAR will overturn it on their own, and I don't think anyone's got a real issue with that, he said. If it's a subjective decision, it goes to the referee on the pitch anyway. So the VARs are trained, are developed, to ignore who the individual is on the pitch effectively and make the decision based upon what they see in front of them. But that is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.